This is Keith Sports News, KSN. Hello, sports fans. That's right. Welcome back to another KSN episode 123. Friday edition. That's right. You hear this music? If you're familiar with sports themes, you should know this one. That's right. One of the, it's the John Colby NFL primetime music on ESPN. Why am I playing this? Well, because the big thing happening is the NFL draft. Yes. And I'm going to play all the NFL themes that I have in this episode, because why not? You know, if you follow my main channel, Eric Super Magnificent, that channel also has a podcast called Eric's Top News. Just released a big episode of me talking about the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I played a bunch of Super Mario Galaxy soundtracks throughout that 2-hour-plus episode. So yeah, that was a big one. And speaking of big ones, the last episode of KSN was over 3.5 freaking hours. Insane. So, I don't think any of y'all listened to that entire episode. If y'all did, I doubt that y'all listened to all of that in one sitting. But I know I didn't thought I would ever make an episode that long. Episode 100 was over 3 hours, and I'm like, okay, there's no way another episode will be that long or longer. Well, the last episode was longer. Me talking about WrestleMania 42, and it's just a pro wrestling episode. There was a lot to say. So, yeah. It was pretty crazy. This episode will be a lot shorter. And because of that, you know how the NFL draft, they have the countdown? This team is on the clock. Well, I thought of something pretty interesting. I'm gonna do myself something like that. That's right. Because I don't have much time, I'm gonna put myself on the clock. 30 minutes of all the things that I want to talk about before I get to the birthdays. So there you go. This episode will be probably under an hour. Well, you guys should know by the time I release this, but I don't know because I'm recording right now as I speak. And if y'all have ever watched or listened to Pardon the Interruption, PTI for short, that is my #1 favorite ESPN show with Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon. They have quite a bit of topics to talk about, but they have to talk about it in a fast pace because they have a timer, and the show is only 30 minutes. And every time I listen to an episode, it's entertaining. Yeah, that is the best ESPN show right now or of all time. How can you not like that show? That show is awesome. So yeah. Alright, so the things that I'll be talking about. Let me get my list here. So yeah, I'm going to be playing the NFL primetime music as well as other NFL themes that I saved on my American Truck Simulator folder. And I have a time calculator, and I added all the times of these soundtracks, and it'll take 40 minutes. Alright. So, the things that I'll be talking about is the NFL draft, NBA and NHL playoffs, the MLB season happening right now, and the UFL season. And then later, I'm going to be playing a video of Tyrone Magnus, just like I did in the last episode. Some more wrestling news, alright? And yeah, we got quite a bit to talk about. But I'm gonna do it at a fast pace because the last episode was over 3.5 freaking hours. A lot of my episodes are over an hour or so. An hour to an hour and a half, like about an hour and 15 minutes. Multiply that times 2. That was how long the last episode was. So yeah. Alright, here we go. 30 minutes. Let's go. Alright, so NFL Draft. I watched that. Round 1, Thursday night. The last week of April as a tradition. And look, I'm wearing my NFL shirt because of the NFL Draft. Why not? I do watch that pretty much every year. But I gotta be honest. This was the least excitement I've had for the draft probably ever. And the reason why I say that is because, to be honest, there's not that many college football players that I recognized from last season. And I think the reason why I say that is because I didn't really watch as much college football. You know, years ago I used to watch a lot of college football. Let me rephrase that. Years ago I did watch a lot of college football. And that's how the more you watch, the more you get to know these players. And I think the reason why I didn't watch as much college football last year was because I was really into the CFL, okay? The Canadian Football League. And I don't really like what college football is today, as well as college sports in general. Mainly college football, though, because that is the most popular sport for college and pros. These college players are getting paid a lot of money, and I understand why they're getting paid, but the amount of money they're getting paid is ridiculous. And every year, players are free agents. I'm like, what the heck? I don't know, because this is not the same college football that I remembered watching back in the day. It's the same with the Major League Baseball season. It's not really the same. But I get it. It can't be the same forever. It is what it is. Hey, I mentioned the CFL. The CFL's going to have new changes, some new rules in their upcoming season. So, I mean, that's the thing. You can't please everybody. Oh, well. But I still wanted to tune into the NFL Draft. Because, why not? And I put on other sports as well. I put on, because I have 4 TVs, which is kind of crazy, 4 separate TVs. So I put the NFL Draft on the big TV, the small TV. Okay, let me just show you. I think it's better if I show you. So if you're watching the video, this is yeah, all the TVs are on. So the big TV had the NFL Draft. The small TV had NHL playoff games. Alright? I actually had the multi-view, the 2 games that were happening at the same time for a while. Okay? This TV, I played a UFL game. That's right, I'm still catching up for that league. And then the top TV on the wall. Old classic WWE content. Because why not? I'm still living off that post-WrestleMania week. And, yeah, as you can see, it's playing the replay of the NFL Draft on the NFL Network. And this one's playing old NFL Draft on YouTube. That's right. Every year, I would put on old NFL Drafts around this time of the year. Because I like the old broadcast, and it has legendary ESPN anchor, commentator Chris Berman, also known as Boomer. He's the best ever. And I do the same with Home Run Derby because I like the old Home Run Derby rules, and it had Chris Berman. So yeah, that's a yearly tradition that I do. All right, so NFL draft, obviously the number 1 overall pick. We all knew this was coming. Fernando Mendoza, drafted by the Vegas Raiders, so a big congratulations to him. Heisman Trophy winner and national champion. That's only happened 3 other times in history. Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, and Joe Burrow. I never knew that Jameis Winston was a Heisman Trophy winner and a national champion. Because I remember when he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I never knew he was a Heisman Trophy winner and a national champion. So, yeah, but it's only happened 4 times in history. Cam Newton and Joe Burrow made a Super Bowl appearance, but they both lost. So it would be awesome if Fernando Mendoza can get to a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, his second season in the NFL, he went to the Super Bowl, which is amazing. All right. His teammate, Fernando Mendoza's college teammate at Indiana, or Omar Cooper Jr., drafted by the New York Jets. Jets. Yes, Jets. Woohoo! The Jets could have had the number 1 overall pick. Oh man, that team is cursed. So, yeah. Let's see here. Any others well known? Oh, Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson got drafted by the LA Rams, and Matthew Stafford is still going to be playing. So yeah. And so the draft was on 3 networks: NFL Network, ESPN, and ABC. Back when Chris Berman was the host, I would usually put it on ESPN. In recent years, I put it on ABC, mainly because of Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach of all time. And, it's cool to hear him talk about football, the Bama players, So, yeah. The College Game Day crew, Reese Davis was the host. Desmond Howard was there, and of course Kirk Herbstreit, the MVP of football, announcing, because he does Thursday Night Football with Al Michaels, as well as Saturday Night Football on ABC. So yeah, what else? There's another player. Oh yeah, that Alabama player, Caden Proctor. They called him, his nickname is Crispy. That is a big ass player. What is he, 6'7"? 6'7". Over 360 pounds. Jeez, he's a monster. He's now with the Miami Dolphins. Awesome. There is a few players that I recognize, but to be honest, not much. Not many. That's probably why I wasn't too excited, but I was still looking forward to the draft because it's the draft, and my goodness, it was in Pittsburgh. Over 300 freaking thousand people. I mean, that's a record. Jeez. A lot of college stadiums, they have over 100,000 capacity. Well, the most capacity is the Big House, Michigan Wolverine Stadium. That has, like 107,000? Multiply that times 3. Yeah, that's about how many people there were in Pittsburgh attending the NFL draft. It's insane. I mean, why are there that many people? I get it, the NFL it gets bigger every single year. It's bigger than ever. But my goodness, can you imagine being out there with all those people? Like, what if you're at the very middle of that crowd? You can't move. I mean, good luck not going to the bathroom. And what if you're at the very back of the crowd? Like, you're not going to be able to see the screens. Can you able to hear the commissioner, Roger Goodell, making the announcements? It's insane. Would you rather be out there or Times Square in New York City? I don't know if Times Square has that many people for the ball drop, 300,000+. I don't know. I mean, I used to watch that, not much anymore. Oh my goodness. It's like basically the NFL draft is the biggest NFL night ever in terms of the amount of people. It's like a big party. The whole NFL draft family, the whole NFL families get together. Even though some of the players that got drafted, they were not there in person. Like Fernando Mendoza, he chose to stay with his family in Miami, Florida, which is cool. His whole family was looking nice and sharp, dressed up. So yeah, I'll be wishing Fernando Mendoza all the best. I'll be rooting for him because he seems like a very cool guy, very entertaining player. It's awesome. I'm hoping the Vegas Raiders improve, have an improvement season, as well as the New York Jets. Now the Jets have the longest active playoff drought appearances, not in the NFL, but in the 4 major sports. Used to be the Buffalo Sabres. Now the Sabres, they finally made the playoffs for the first time since 2011. 15 years. Now, I believe the Jets have not made the playoffs in over 15 years as well. Alright. So yeah, that was round 1. Will I watch round 2? I might tune in and put it on in the background, but I'm probably not going to be as focused as round 1. Yeah, tonight is rounds 2 and 3, and then tomorrow rounds 4 through 7 all day Saturday. So yeah, let me just say this: if you watch it on ESPN, Mel Kiper, that guy is the godfather of the NFL draft. That guy, he's been covering the NFL draft for over 40 years. I think he was my age, about my age when he started. Young Mel Kiper. My gosh, here he is, still doing his thing. Pretty much the only time we see him on TV. Now, it's like that with Chris Berman. The only time we see him on TV is really the Super Bowl post-game show, NFL Draft. So, yeah. The NFL Draft was pretty fast. It was kind of a fast pace. Because I remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, I remember it was over 3.5 hours. The NFL Draft was much longer. Now it's 30 minutes shorter, which I didn't mind. I was entertained. But again, I had the NHL playoff games on, as well as a UFL game, so without those on, I would probably wouldn't be as entertaining, the draft. So, yeah. Anyways, I know that's got to be the first thing people are going to be talking about in the big podcasts. Yeah, it's not the NBA playoffs, it's the NFL draft. Told you, NFL always wins. All they do is win, 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 no matter what. Yeah, DJ Khaled. So, yeah. All right. Let me get my list. I'm on the clock, just like the NFL draft. I'm on the clock. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk everything about this. 16 minutes. All right, NBA and NHL playoffs. Playoffs? So, I don't know. I find it so weird that they're both leagues' playoffs are happening at the exact same time of the season. Why? Why is that? I mean, this is basically more March Madness in April and May. Every night there's games on. It's hard to follow both leagues, you know? But if I had to pick one to follow, it's the NHL playoffs. Because I find it more entertaining, and I have 3 older brothers. They all do that fantasy hockey. Yeah, I don't do fantasy hockey. As a matter of fact, I don't do any fantasy. But they do fantasy hockey, so they do follow the NHL more than the NBA. Alright. Apparently there's NBA games on Amazon Prime. I don't know why. Oh wait, I think I do know why, because they don't have games on TNT anymore, which is a damn shame. We all miss it on TNT. You know, at least Amazon Prime has the same announcers, such as Ian Eagle and Kevin Harlan. They're fantastic announcers. All right. And a couple nights ago, there was a game on Peacock and NBC. So, yeah. I haven't been following much of the NBA, but I did watch SportsCenter, the American and the Canadian version, so they showed the highlights, so I was watching some of the highlights. All right. Yeah, both the NBA and NHL playoff formats are pretty much the same. It's all best of 7, 16 teams. I don't really like that. The playoffs, they drag out too long, in my opinion. Like, think about it. NFL playoffs and the MLB postseason, they last about a month. NBA and NHL playoffs, they last almost 2 months. That's a little too long, in my opinion. And I think 16 teams is too many. I prefer if it's 8. I don't know. I like the college football playoff. I wish it's 8 instead of 12. I don't know why they went from 4 to 12. Why not go from 4 to 6 and then 6 to 8 and then 8 to 12? It's weird. Oh well. So let's see. NBA playoffs here. New York Knicks against the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks won Game 3 by 1 point. New York Knicks, that's a team I want to see win the NBA Finals. It's been forever. Seriously, it's been forever. Just like the New York Jets, it's been forever since they last won a Super Bowl and last gone to a Super Bowl. Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Toronto Raptors. Well, TSN is the Canadian ESPN channel, basically. They follow their Canadian sports team, so the Toronto Raptors. They took care of business. They won Game 3. And they also take a 2-1 series lead. Denver Nuggets against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves won Game 3, 113-96, and they also take a 2-1 series lead. All right, tonight, Boston Celtics against the Philadelphia 76ers, Game 3. The series is tied at 1 game apiece. And then the LA Lakers taking on the Houston Rockets. LA up 2-0. LeBron James, he's been playing well lately, which is great for his age. One of the best players right in history. And then the San Antonio Spurs against the Portland Trail Blazers. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. All these games are on Amazon Prime. Saturday, Detroit Pistons against the Orlando Magic at noon Central. That's on Peacock and NBCSN. Okay. Series is also tied at 1 game apiece. Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending champions, against the Phoenix Suns. Thunder takes a 2-0 series lead. Okay. That game is also on Peacock and NBC. And then later that evening, Game 4 between the Knicks and Hawks. And then primetime ABC has Nuggets against Timberwolves. Okay. Now, for the NHL playoffs, I have watched quite a bit of games over the past couple of nights. So, I'll tell you which ones I watched. Tuesday, I watched the overtime game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right. So the Canadiens, they took Game 1, which was also in overtime, and the Lightning took Game 2 in overtime, so the series is tied at 1 game apiece. What else did I watch? I watched the LA Kings against the Colorado Avalanche, and there was a crazy moment where the glass broke behind the bench, the Kings bench, and there was pieces on the Kings head coach. What the heck, fans? No, they were like shaking it. Oh, and it just shattered, and the game was delayed like 20 minutes. That game also went into overtime. Colorado won. Okay. And that was Tuesday night. Wednesday night, I watched some of the Battle of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh Penguins against the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers won. They are up 3-0. Wow. And then that game between the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Twins. Yep. I stayed up late for that game. That game went into double overtime. That game was over 4 hours, I believe. It ended at almost 1 a.m. Central Time, which is crazy. The game must have started... Yeah, the game started at 8:30, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. Like, come on now. They do this every year for playoff games. These Central Time Zone teams, they start at a late time because they want to wait until the previous game is over. Because, you know, these games are on TNT, TBS, and ESPN. Oh, look, now it's playing the college football playoff theme music. Oh, man. No one could score in overtime, so it went into double overtime, and the Dallas Stars won 4-3. They take a 2-1 series lead. And then last night, I watched some of the Buffalo Sabres Boston Bruins series. That's a rivalry. It's great to see the Buffalo Sabres back in the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. It's about damn time. They love hockey there. I think they love the Sabres more than the Buffalo Bills, because I heard that every Sabres home game is sold out, which is amazing. Sabres won on the road 3-1, and they take a 2-1 series lead. Carolina Hurricanes took on the Ottawa Senators. Hurricanes won 2-1. They're up 3-0. Colorado Avalanche, they also beat the LA Kings again by a final score of 4-2, and they're also up 3-0. We got a couple of series 3-0. So tonight, Game 3 of the Lightning and the Canadiens on TNT at 6 p.m. Central. I'll try to watch that game. Hey, I'm a Montreal Alouettes fan of the CFL. Maybe I should become a Canadiens fan. Why not? They have won the most Stanley Cups in history, but it's been over 30 years, I believe, since the last one. And also I heard that they are the last Canadian team that have won a Stanley Cup. Vegas Golden Knights against the Utah Mammoth. Yeah, isn't this Utah's second season? And they're in the playoffs. That's awesome. And then Edmonton Oilers against the Anaheim Ducks. Edmonton was in the last two Stanley Cup finals, and I was rooting for them on both of them. I would love to see Connor McDavid win the Stanley Cup. We'll see what happens. The Anaheim Ducks, when I was younger, like growing up, that was the team that I was sort of rooting for because I liked their name and their uniforms. I actually do have a Ducks shirt, but it's really tight on me, so it doesn't fit on me much anymore because that was back when I was still growing up. All right. So let's see what happens. Yeah, isn't the crazy part is that no Florida Panthers, the back-to-back Stanley Cup final champions, not in the playoffs. That's crazy. All right, next, the MLB. I haven't been watching it lately because of all this other sporting event. See, that's the thing about the MLB. Their season, it's in the middle of all these other sporting events. It is what it is. I mean, the season just started. But I heard that the New York Mets were on a 12-game losing streak. But they finally snapped that streak the other night. What the heck is going on with that team? Last year they spent a ton of money, a shit ton of money, and they didn't make the playoffs. You know, they signed Juan Soto, the biggest contract ever. They lost Pete Alonso, they got Bo Bichette. Is Bo the shit? Get it? And now they've been losing a lot. Another team has been losing a lot, surprisingly, is the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets and the Phillies are in 4th and last place in the National League East. Hey, I know the season just started, but this is very unusual for the Mets and the Phillies. I mean, wow. They're behind the Nationals, Washington Nationals, and the Miami Marlins. Okay. Unfortunately, the team that I root for, the Houston Astros, are not doing well. Unfortunately, their best pitchers are injured. Injuries suck, man. It seems like every pitcher gets hurt. Yeah, it is what it is. At least they got Yordan Alvarez. Last year, Alvarez was injured, but he's back in his old self. And they got Carlos Correa. But I'm afraid Correa is no longer in his prime ever since he left the Astros to join the Minnesota Twins in 2022. But at the same time, it's great to have him back, reuniting with Jose Altuve. That's all I know right now. So, yeah, maybe tonight, every week they have MLB Strike Zone on Wednesday and Friday nights, because they'll have a bunch of games on at the same time. I might tune in the Strike Zone tonight. I know there's MLB Big Inning, which is where they show multiple games at the same time, but I prefer Strike Zone, where they jump from game to game. It's like NFL Red Zone. I prefer that, honestly. So that comes on from 6 to 9 Central. All right. Now the UFL. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but I decided to watch all the games. Yep, because I have YouTube TV, right? I recorded all the games, so I might as well watch all of them. And I love the UFL. It is entertaining. It is fun. I like pretty much everything. So, I'm almost all caught up. I am almost all caught up. So what week are we on? Week 5, I think? Well, there's the last 2 games I haven't watched yet. St. Louis Battlehawks and the DC Defenders, and the Orlando Storm against the Birmingham Stallions. Those are the only 2 games I haven't watched yet. Yeah, and every night I would watch 1 or 2 games. Every night I've been watching UFL games. So eventually, if I keep this up, I will eventually be all caught up, which I think I will be all caught up next week if I keep watching the games. So let me go back and just do quick recaps on these games here. So the team that I'll be rooting for is the Houston Gamblers. They beat the Birmingham Stallions, which is great, but their next game was against the DC Defenders. They got absolutely destroyed in that game. But then their latest game was against the Louisville Kings. That they should have won that game, because it looked like they kicked a long field goal and it looked like it just barely went through the upright and the official says no good, and they didn't challenge it. They had a challenge remaining. Because you could challenge under the 2-minute warning, right? So, this game, Orlando Storm against the Louisville Kings, had a bizarre ending. Yeah, that was the game that went into overtime. When a game goes to overtime, they'll have that 2-point conversion shootout. Well, there was a foul that the Kings made twice. You can't cause penalties twice during this UFL overtime. And that's how the game ended. Yeah, it ended on a penalty. I did not like that. And I think a lot of the fans did not like that, so they changed that rule. That's not part of the rule book anymore. Isn't that awesome? They decided to change the rule during the season because they realized how stupid that rule is. So, another game that went into overtime was the Houston Gamblers against the Columbus Aviators, I think it was. No, it was against Louisville, I believe. Yeah, that went into overtime, even though the Gamblers should have won because of that field goal. Oh, my time. Sorry if that was loud. My time was up. Man, those 30 minutes have flown by. They really have. You know what? How about we do an extra 5 minutes? Or maybe 10 minutes. Can we do that? We can keep talking until the music stops. This has another... The music has like another 10 minutes left anyways. So, yeah. The Gamblers, they should have won that game against the Kings. Because it looked like they made that long field goal. He kicked it so high, it went as high as the top of the upright. And it looked like it went through it. And the official says no good. And somehow they didn't challenge it, because they had a challenge remaining. You can challenge at any time, right? You don't have to... You can challenge under the 2-minute warning. I don't know. Oh well, I mean, I saw the odds when the season began. The team's odds to win the UFL championship game. I think the Gamblers were at the very bottom. Oh well. I am glad they're not called the Houston Roughnecks anymore, because for the past couple of years I did not like their uniforms and those helmets. So I'm glad they made that change. Remember, I was kind of ranting on that last year, like they need to be called the Houston Gamblers because they're in the USFL conference. Houston Gamblers are a USFL team. Houston Roughnecks were an XFL team, okay? So I'm glad. It's like they were listening to me, you know? And I also said, get rid of conferences. Change that as well. And they did. No conferences. Top 4 teams advances to the semifinals. I do like that as well. So, because of that, I've been enjoying the United Football League a lot more than last year's. It's a new era. They changed the logo, they changed the rules, they added new teams. This owner, Mike Rapoli, I think that's his name, he knows what he's doing. He wants this league to be fun and entertaining. And shout out to the fans that actually go to the games. Like the DC Defenders, they might have the craziest fans. You know that they have that long ass beer snake. How long is that thing? Like 50 feet? Like, that's their tradition. They got that beer snake, which is awesome. The St. Louis Battlehawks, I think they have the best fans because they used to have the NFL's Rams. The St. Louis Rams used to play there at the Dome. And thankfully, they kept the Dome after the Rams left to go to Los Angeles. And it's cool, they put the Battlehawks logo at midfield. I like that. And then the new teams, Columbus Aviators, Orlando Storm, and the Louisville Kings, they have quite a bit of fans at their games as well, so that's great. Orlando Storm is a pretty good team. Yeah. Anthony Beck used to be the Battlehawks head coach. AJ McCarron used to be the Battlehawks quarterback. Now he's the Birmingham Stallions head coach. I remember McCarron playing at Alabama under coach Nick Saban. He won back-to-back national championships. One of the best Alabama quarterbacks of all time. So, yeah. Let's see here. Any other games I want to talk about real quick? Let's see. I'm looking at the list here. Please bear with me. Okay. Birmingham Stallions against the St. Louis Battlehawks was a pretty good game. It turned into a high-scoring game in the fourth quarter. That was a pretty good game. Birmingham, they needed that win. Okay. And the last game I watched was the Dallas Renegades against the Columbus Aviators. I wasn't really paying attention too much to that game because I had the NFL draft on as well as the NHL playoff games on. And plus, the Columbus was winless. They were 0-3. But they won. A big win for Columbus over the Dallas Renegades. So they get their first win. And I think all the teams have... None of the teams are winless now. I want to say... Yeah, we have no team winless. I don't know if there are any undefeated teams. I think Orlando was undefeated. But their last game, they played the Birmingham Stallions. I have not watched that game, so I don't know if they won or not. Please don't tell me in the comments. Thank you for not spoiling anything. But yeah, there's two games that I haven't seen yet. St. Louis Battlehawks against the DC Defenders. That's a rivalry. That's usually a big matchup. And the Orlando Storm at the Birmingham Stallions. So yeah, folks, I have watched all the games. Pretty much. Why not? That's better than watching their highlights on YouTube because you get I like the broadcast too. It's awesome. Yeah, the UFL is a fun league. So every night I put on at least one UFL game, but now that we're on the weekend, I'll probably put 2 UFL games on. Probably, it might not be 2 tonight, but it will be 2 tomorrow and 2 on Sunday. Maybe 3, perhaps 3, maybe 3 on Saturday. And I'm sure I'll be all caught up by sometime next week. Remember, the reason why I've been behind for the past couple of weeks is because of the Classic Super Sluggers tournament. I know that was kind of weird to have that tournament during a busy time of the sports calendar year, but that was something that I wanted to do after the successful World Baseball Classic. So, if we do have that tournament again, it's not going to be during a busy time of the year in sports. So, yeah. But the UFL is great. The thing that's interesting is that once you cross the 50-yard line, you can't punt. And I do like that a 60-yard field goal or longer is worth 4 points. I do like that. The only thing I don't really like very much is the overtime rules, the 2-point conversion shootouts. That's a little weird to watch, in my opinion. But I'm glad they got rid of that rule where you can't, the team can't make, multiple penalties during that 2-point conversion shootout because that ends the game no matter what. I know. That's kind of weird, but I'm glad they got rid of that. So, because if they kept that rule, I would be like, you know what? It's like I'd rather have a tie. I'd rather have a tie in the UFL. Yeah. I think NFL still has ties. Wasn't it last season or the season before? I think it was last season. There was a 40-40 tie game. The Green Bay Packers against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's high scoring. Ended in a tie, a shootout tie. CFL also has ties. But the thing about ties is that they're rare. Ties are not often. You know, in the old days, the NHL had ties before they introduced their shootout. But yeah. Other than that, I love the UFL. It's awesome. And I'm glad they're going to stay around. Because in 2 years, in 2028, Oklahoma City will have a team. And I would like to go to a Houston Gamblers game next season, and I'm hoping that team stays. Because they are the closest team. And the reason why I don't want to go this season is because I just went to Houston not too long ago. All right, time's up, folks. Now, we're going to watch some Tyrone Magnus. He has some WWE news. So, I found this video. Pro wrestling video here. So Tyrone Magnus is one of my favorite YouTubers. I watched his live stream. I put on his live stream of him watching WrestleMania, so it was like I was watching it with him. Without him, WrestleMania wouldn't be as entertaining for me. So, and I also watched Monday Night Raw. Decided to watch Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. So here's a video. It's called, this is from a couple days ago. This was actually right after I put out the last episode of KSN, that 3.5 hour marathon. It says CM Punk smacks phone out of fan's hand for filming AJ Lee and Bailey. Oh boy. Let's listen to this.
What is happening? So, CM Punk is under a little bit of fire right now.
Under fire.
TMZ has a video of him smacking a phone out of a fan's hand that got too close to, I believe it was Bailey and his wife, AJ Lee, hugging.
Is that a video or just a photo? If it's a video, uh-oh.
Okay, so if you go to TMZ, you see it happens really quick, right? And it actually, if you watch TMZ's footage, it looks like almost a nothing burger. Almost, why'd you smack his phone? Like he seems to be at a pretty good distance away. However, there is more footage from a different angle of how close he really got to them before he backed up, and I guess he came over and smacked the phone out of his hand. As a matter of fact, Bailey put her hand on the phone like, yo, what are you doing? Like, wow. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, as close as he got, that's weird. You know, people are having their friendly, personal moment. They're hugging. And dude, the way it looks like he just got right up on them. Like, way into their personal space.
Way too close.
Yeah, that's something we learned about in high school. Personal space and social cues. And some people just don't have them. Some fans are just so excited to see them, they forget social cues. They forget manners. They forget the unspoken rules of society. And they bogart them.
You know, I've never really ran into someone famous. You know, like, oh, look who it is. It's, this guy, or, oh, I recognize you. How you doing? Like I've never ran into someone famous or someone that I know, like, out in public. You're minding your own business. Have you ever do that in public? Like, like at the mall, by the way, my local mall, unfortunately, had something very serious, very sad happen. If you want to know what happened, go to Eric's Super Magnificent for more details on that. But whenever I go to the mall, I usually do my walking, and then I would, sit down at one of the sitting areas and just watch the people walk by. And, like, who knows? You might see someone very familiar that you're going to be like, wait a minute, that guy looks so familiar. Is that who I think it is? So, yeah. But yeah, I've never had a situation where I ran into someone famous that I know. I mean, can you imagine that? And if I do, I'll be like, I'm not going to, like, get into their personal space. I'll be like, hey, are you this person? And then they say, yeah, I am. Like, oh, awesome. Yeah, I really like what you do. You are entertaining. Can I get a quick photo of you? I think a lot of times they'll say yes if you ask them for a quick photo, and then that's about it. Because I know they got to do their own thing. They're minding their own business. But yeah. But can you imagine, like, if it's like Taylor Swift famous? I mean, I think she has her own bodyguards, so, like, cause she's that damn famous. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Continue.
They knock him over. Okay, so from what I understand, he's not going to go to the police, but he wants an apology from CM Punk. And if you've known who CM Punk is over the years, he's probably not going to get one. I guess that could be considered some sort of assault or whatever. You know what I mean? I saw CM Punk in an interview where he said he was out and about, and a fan was like digging at him, like, hey, Phil, like that type of
What?
I was like, yo, man, that fan was trying to start something.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, I know some of these wrestlers have been known to be a-holes and have done stuff. However, I don't believe in, like, returning evil for evil. So it's like, if he never did nothing to you, just be polite. Stuff like that. I got a buddy to this day that don't like Lex Luger because he walked up to Lex Luger in the mall and asked him for his autograph, and he said Lex Luger just looked at him like, psst, and walked away.
Wow.
I was like, damn. I was like, he really did that? He was like, yeah. Because I ain't liked him since. So, I get it in those different types of situations. But, yeah, man, like, before you do something as a fan, you should have for that 10th of a second, you should kind of think to yourself, would I be okay with this? Would I be okay with a camera this far from my face? You know what I'm saying?
That close.
To the point where people are like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we know the law, like when you're in a public space, you really don't have any privacy. So people can film whatever they feel like filming if they want to film you. But it's like, some people just come off as mentally off with some of the actions that they do. So, do you think that CM Punk was wrong or right? I personally believe he was half right. I think he may have, you may have wanted to approach the dude and say, look, man, just let them have their moment. You're too close to them. He didn't have to smack the phone out of his hand. But there's a guy that deals with a lot more fans than a lot of people are used to dealing with. So I could probably understand his lashing out. Hopefully he doesn't get too much backlash from this. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the situation. If you enjoyed my thoughts on it, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. 10 million subscribers. Woo!
He said Backlash. It's funny because Backlash is the next WWE Premium live event. I think CM Punk, I think he overreacted, but I get why he was upset. I wouldn't smack the phone out of the guy's hand. I'd be like, hey, bro, you're too close. Can you back off, please? Just back off. But at the same time, the guy with the phone in his hand, like, come on, you should know better. You really should know better. So, just never know. Or maybe CM Punk's unhappy because he lost the World Heavyweight Championship. Oh no. And you know what? Real quick, I wonder if that is his last title reign. Because CM Punk is actually getting kind of old now. He's in his late 40s. I mean, he looks great for his age, but I don't know. There may not be another time opportunity. So SmackDown is tonight. Will I watch it? I think I will, but probably not live. Most likely I won't watch it live. Because I have it recorded anyways. So yeah, I did watch Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and it was kind of a disappointment because it was the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. Usually there would be some more extra surprises and some special moments, but to me it didn't felt like that. I don't know, maybe they're saving something big for SmackDown. I don't know. So I'll watch it. And if it's also a pretty disappointment, then I'll just wait until Backlash, and then I'll look at the matches to see if I want to watch Backlash, because that is coming up, by the way. So, yeah. Time for the birthdays here. So, what do we got here? We got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got quite a bit. Alright. And normally, you know, I usually do belated birthdays, today's birthdays, and tomorrow's birthdays. Well, there aren't any birthdays for tomorrow, April 25th. So they're all April 23rd and 24th birthdays. Alright, but still got quite a bit. First one we got, belated birthday, is Joe Ferguson. Joe Ferguson. That's a name that it sounds familiar, that name, but he's 76. Former NFL quarterback who was a third-round 1973 NFL draft pick, signing with the Buffalo Bills and going on to play for a total of five teams. Wow. Before fame, he played for the University of the Arkansas Razorbacks, where he set a school record for the most completions, 31 in a single game. Wow. I wonder if my father remembers Joe Ferguson, because he went to Arkansas. And he also grew up in Buffalo. I'll have to, if I remember, I'll ask him. Trivia, he shared the NFL lead for touchdown passes in 1975 with Fran Tarkenton. Family life, his brother-in-law was the coach at, Louisiana Tech University from 1983 until 87. Wow. Louisiana Tech is in North Louisiana, and I've actually been to some LA Tech games. Associated with, he and Hall of Famer Jim Kelly both wore the number 12 jersey for the Bills. Okay, yeah, I remember Jim Kelly. I'm more familiar with him. He was the quarterback where the Buffalo Bills were in 4 consecutive Super Bowls and they lost all 4 of them. I mean, that's sad, man. But Joe Ferguson sounds like a familiar name. Next birthday is Tony Atlas. So Tony Atlas. Oh, born in Roanoke, Virginia. Bodybuilder who was a 3-time Mr. USA, who went on to have a career in professional wrestling, working for the WCW, ECW, and WWE. Before fame, he grew up playing sports in Roanoke, Virginia. Trivia, he wrote a tell-all autobiography called Atlas. Too much, too soon. Family life, he married a woman named Monica and moved to Maine. Associated with, he has worked for Vince McMahon in the WWE. So, I've heard of this name before. He's from the old days of pro wrestling because he's 72, right? Yeah, let me just look him up here real quick. Yeah, I saw this one picture of him and he looks so muscular. It still looks like he is a bodybuilder. Like, wow. He still looks like he is a bodybuilder. Next is another wrestler. Alright. Let's see here. Her name is... Britt Baker. Britt Baker. Alright, so Britt Baker. American wrestler, known by her professional name Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She signed with All Elite Wrestling in 2019. She is the first woman wrestler to ever even sign with AEW. Wow. Before fame, she began her professional wrestling training in 2014. 1 year later, she made her professional wrestling debut on an independent wrestling circuit. Trivia, she attended Pennsylvania State University to earn her undergraduate degree before enrolling to the University of Pittsburgh School of Dental Medicine. In May 2018, she graduated with her doctorate degree. Family life, in 2021, she began dating professional wrestler Adam Cole. They split in October of 2024. Associated with, she defeated Priscilla Kelly on January 2020 at Chris Jericho's Rock and Roll Wrestling Rager. Okay, so I do remember Britt Baker because there was a time where I was sort of following the AEW, All Elite Wrestling. So I do remember her name. All right. I believe she's still with AEW. Let me look her up here. Oh, wow. She was actually at the NFL draft. Looks like she's wearing a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Awesome. I mean, that makes sense because it was in Pittsburgh. Yep, she's still signed with AEW. All right, next one. This is still from April 23rd. Belated birthday. Chloe Kim. Chloe Kim. She became the youngest woman to win an Olympic snowboarding medal at age of 17. When she won the gold medal in halfpipe at the 2018 Winter Olympics. She took home gold in halfpipe and slopestyle events at the 2016 Winter Youth Olympics and was a 4-time Winter X Games gold medalist. Before fame, her father taught her how to snowboard at 4 years old. Wow. She earned her first medal in 2014 at the Aspen X Games at the Superpipe event. Trivia, she previously held the record for the youngest gold medalist to win the Winter X Games. At the U.S. Snowboarding Grand Prix in 2016, she became the first female to land back-to-back 1080 spins in a snowboarding event. Family life, she was born in Long Beach, California, and raised in Torrance. She has a couple of sisters. She dated fellow snowboarder Toby Miller. As of 2020, she's in a relationship with Evan Burleigh, though that relationship ended in late 2022. Associated with Kelly Sildaro, surpassed her for the youngest X Games gold medalist. So yeah, I remember watching her at the 2022 Beijing Olympics and this year's where's the Olympics at? I forgot where it was. Milan, yeah. Cortino, Milan, yeah. I mean, she's just outstanding. I probably also remember watching her in the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics. She is one of a kind, folks. Snowboarding is pretty crazy. It's like skateboarding, except, you're on snow performing these tricks, man. So yeah, if you're an Olympic athlete, God bless you. Seriously. That's awesome. You get to represent your country. Last belated birthday for April 23rd is... You can't see me. My time is now. My time is up. My time is now. John Cena. Well, his time is up. Get it? Because he's retired. Oh boy. John Cena. So... 49 years old. Nicknamed Doctor of Thugonomics. He has won 25 professional championships, including 16 WWE World Heavyweight Championships. Also an actor, he has earned leading roles such in the films The Marine, Legendary, Fred the Movie, 12 Rounds, and Playing with Fire. He announced his retirement in 2025. Before fame, while pursuing a career in bodybuilding, he worked as a chauffeur at a limousine company. I forgot what that is. Let me look that up. Yeah, you're probably going to make fun of me. You don't know what that is? Oh, a driver? Luxury vehicle such as a large sedan, SUV, or limousine. Okay. Trivia, he performed the WWE theme song Basic Thugonomics, which was featured on WWE Originals, the WWE soundtrack album. Yep, that's a good theme song. When he was a heel during the ruthless aggression era. Family life, he was married to Elizabeth Huberdeau from July 2009 to July 2012. Then began a relationship with fellow wrestler Nikki Bella. He proposed to Bella at WrestleMania 33 in 2017, but the couple separated before the marriage. He subsequently began dating model Shay Shariatzadeh, and the two got married on October 2020. Associated with, he and Hulk Hogan are two of the most accomplished wrestlers in WWE history. Hogan tallied 6 WWE and WWF World Heavyweight Championships and another 6 WCW World Heavyweight Championship titles. So yeah, a lot of people do compare John Cena to Hulk Hogan because in the golden era, in the 80s, in the early 90s, Hulk Hogan was the face of the company, meaning the biggest star of pro wrestling back then. John Cena became the face of the company starting in 2005, because that was when he first won his WWE World Championship. It was at WrestleMania 21, And then he became the top guy. And then that was the beginning of him phasing out of his Doctor of Thugonomics persona and became a different character. And that was when the fans started to turn on him. The fans started to boo him, even though John Cena was considered the good guy, the babyface. But they started cheering for the heels, such as, go look up, if they have this match on YouTube, I recommend you watching it. John Cena versus Triple H at WrestleMania 22 in 2006. Triple H was the bad guy, but the crowd, half of the crowd, at least half the crowd was rooting for him. That crowd was wild. It was at Illinois. Yeah. Rosemount, Illinois, I believe. So, yeah, and then a few years later, WWE went PG full time, and then he still stayed as the top face of the company, and the fans started booing him more, you know. But they kept pushing him. They kept shoving him down the fans' throats, and the rest is history, basically. I know. He never really changed his character ever since. The only thing he changed was his outfit. The colorful hats and the t-shirts and the wristbands, you know. People call him Fruity Pebble colors. Tyrone Magnus, he's known for not liking John Cena because he was watching the WWE back then. And then as the years go by, he started to hate him even more. This is his wrestling character, not the human being. His wrestling character is what people didn't like. And yeah, they kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. He tied Ric Flair's championship world title records at 16. Even though I heard that Ric Flair was a 20-time champion, but for some reason WWE acknowledges 16. And then his final year last year was his retirement tour, which, to be honest, it wasn't that great. It kind of sucked. Remember when he turned heel at the Elimination Chamber? He kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls. I mean, that was kind of crazy that happened, but his heel run really sucked. Because it wasn't the heel run that we thought was going to happen. We thought he would bring back Thugonomics, but he never did. He never brought that back, you know. Yeah. And then, you know, he kept saying, I'll do everything I can to win championship title number 17, and he did at last year's WrestleMania. I knew it was coming. He broke Ric Flair's title record, you know. That was so bizarre because he was considered a heel at the time, but he still broke the record, and the crowd popped, even though that ending to last year's WrestleMania was trash because of one man, Travis Scott. Yeah. So yeah, I never really became a big Cena fan. There were some Cena moments that I actually enjoyed. It was pretty cool. But you know how a lot of people, they grew up watching pro wrestling? Well, I didn't. A lot of people grew up watching John Cena. Hey, a lot of people grew up watching Hulk Hogan. You know, if I grew up watching the WWE, I would have become a John Cena fan. I would have. So, yeah. All right. But it was cool to see him at WrestleMania wearing a suit, you know. Well, I don't know if that was his first time wearing a suit on WWE television. And I'm talking about a pro wrestling show, not the Hall of Fame ceremony. All right. Now, to today's birthdays. First, this is not an athlete, but it is an announcer. Once in a while, I'll mention the announcers. And this particular announcer, Joe Buck. That's right. Born in St. Petersburg, Florida. Play-by-play commentator specializing in NFL and MLB coverage on Fox Sports. Well, that's what he did. Not anymore. He's now on ESPN doing Monday Night Football since 2022. Before fame, he attended Indiana University but did not graduate. Trivia, he was doing the call when Mark McGwire broke Roger Maris' record for home runs in a single season. Family life, his father was legendary sportscaster Jack Buck. His second marriage was to Michelle Beisner in 2014. He has children named Trudy and Natalie from his first marriage to Ann Buck. Associated with, in 2002, he was mocked by Barry Bonds during the interview, and he fired back by mocking Bonds during the following game broadcast. Wow. So Joe Buck, I've always liked him, even though people didn't like him very much in the 90s and 2000s when he was a young guy, because he wasn't really a hyped up, excited announcer. Like, he's like the complete opposite of Gus Johnson. Yeah. But I've always liked Joe Buck. He has a great voice, honestly. I watched the World Series for years, and he became he was the voice of the World Series on Fox. And I remember my first time watching the All-Star game with him in 2013, when we saw Joe Buck in the booth, he said, "That guy has a weird shape looking head." And I'm like, yeah, he does. Joe Buck has a weird looking shape of a head. Yeah. So, remember 2013 was the first time I got into watching sports. So, I got into listening to Joe Buck for MLB on Fox as well as the NFL on Fox. And then I got disappointed after he left Fox in 2022 to become the new voice of Monday Night Football on ESPN. But so I'm like, wait, is he not going to call games on ESPN for Major League Baseball? And it turns out he didn't. Which is a shame, because I enjoy listening to him calling MLB games more than NFL games. So... But yeah, recent years, he mainly just does Monday Night Football on ESPN. But this year and last year, he was able to call an MLB game on ESPN. They invited him, and he basically said yes. He said that he doesn't miss calling games. He doesn't miss calling MLB games anymore. I don't know. It is what it is. So, Joe Buck was the voice of Fox Sports, whether you like him or not. But after he left Fox Sports, it wasn't really the same for me. Especially the MLB on Fox. A lot of great announcers left. Matt Vasgersian was another one. Yeah. So, yeah. So I enjoyed listening to Joe Buck, mainly calling MLB games. And he did call the longest World Series game in history, Game 3, back in 2018. He called that game, which is crazy. So... yeah. Okay, we got to get moving here because I'm getting tired. Not going to get much sleep again, unfortunately. Next, we got Carlos Beltrán. He's the manager for the New York Mets, right? 9-time All-Star MLB outfielder who was named American League Rookie of the Year in 1999 with the Kansas City Royals. He won a World Series title as a member of the Houston Astros in 2017. Before fame, he gave up playing volleyball at 17 so that he can focus on baseball. Trivia, he became a member of the 30-30 Club in 2004 after finishing a season with 38 home runs and 42 stolen bases. Family life, he married Jessica Lugo on November 6, 1999. The couple has two daughters, Ivana and Kiera, and a son named Evan Carlos. Associated with, he finished 4th in the National League MVP voting in 2006. Ryan Howard won the award. So Carlos Beltrán is... Let's see here. So he joined, he played for the Kansas City Royals from 1998 to 2004. Then got traded to the Houston Astros in 2004. Then played for the New York Mets in 2005 to 2011. Then got traded to the Giants in 2011. Then he joined the St. Louis Cardinals, played for that team in 2012 and 2013. Then played for the New York Yankees in 2014 to 2016. Then got traded to the Texas Rangers in 2016. And then his final year was 2017 with the Astros. Oh, and that was when he won the World Series with the Astros in 2017. Okay, so that's not... Okay, so that... Who is the manager for the New York Mets? Isn't his name also Carlos? Okay, Carlos Mendoza. Okay. I got mixed up with the Carloses. I mentioned Carlos Correa, but the best Carlos athlete is Alcaraz, the tennis player. Vamos, Carlitos. All right. Got a few more left. Next is Jerry Jeudy. So Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver who received the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver during his sophomore year at the University of Alabama. He was selected 15th overall by the Denver Broncos in the 2020 NFL Draft. Before fame, he played football at Deerfield Beach High School in Florida. Trivia: he was a first-team All-SEC selection in both 2018 and 19. He was a consensus All-American in 2018. Family life: he was born in Deerfield Beach, Florida. His mom, Mary, immigrated from Haiti to the U.S. when she was 14 years old. He is of Haitian descent. He has an older sister named Diane and an older brother named Terry. His younger sister, Aaliyah, passed away when she was only 7 years old due to a rare condition known as trisomy 18. He has a daughter named Journey. Associated with, he was teammates with running back Najee Harris at Alabama. Yep. I remember Jerry Jeudy and Najee Harris playing for Bama. And I remember Jerry Jeudy got drafted to the Denver Broncos in 2020, but he's no longer with that team. He is now with the Cleveland Browns. That's another team that's cursed. The Cleveland Browns. Okay, up next is Ashleigh Barty. Right-handed player who made the finals in 3 of the 4 Grand Slams in 2013 as a doubles player. She went on to win singles titles at the French Open in 2019 and at Wimbledon in 2021. Well, she also won the Australian Open in 2022. I guess FamousBirthdays.com didn't update that. Before fame, she won the 2011 Junior Wimbledon Championship. Trivia: in 2013, she was a member of the Australia's Fed Cup team, despite being just 16 years old. Family life: she grew up in Ipswich, Queensland, Australia. She is indigenous Australian. Okay. Associated with primarily a doubles player, she broke onto the singles scene with a 6-0, 6-3 victory over Francesca Schiavone in 2013. So I remember Ashleigh Barty, her final few years as a player, and she really was the best player at the time. So yeah, when she won the Australian Open in 2022, because she is Australian, the crowd went crazy. And that was like the first time in a long time that an Australian won the Australian Open for a female. And then, not too long after that, she announced her retirement. In March of 2022, she wasn't even 26 years old yet. Isn't that crazy? Sort of like Bjorn Borg in the old days. Borg also retired at a young age. But yeah. All right, last one. Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones. Former MLB third baseman who played his entire 19 career with the Atlanta Braves. Wow. Hitting 468 career home runs while winning the 1999 National League MVP award and the 2008 NL batting title. He helped lead the Braves to a World Series championship in 1995. Before fame, he got his nickname from his family, who saw him as a chip off the old block, referring to his father. Oh, okay. Trivia: he was named to 8 National League All-Star teams from 1996 to 2012. Family life: he was born Larry Wayne Jones Jr. He has 5 sons, 1 with his first wife, Karen Fulford, and 3 with his second wife, Sharon Loganov. Following their divorce, he married model Taylor Higgins, who gave birth to his 5th son, Cutler, in January 2017. Associated with star pitcher Tom Glavine, was named MVP of the 1995 World Series, where Jones and the Braves defeated the Cleveland Indians in 6 games. Isn't he also an announcer? Is he also an announcer for the Braves? Speaking of the Braves, I heard or noticed that they got their own network now, which is cool. I don't know if it's only for the Atlanta Braves or the Atlanta Hawks as well. Oh, Chipper Jones' number 10 was retired in 2013. See, FamousBirthdays.com, I know it's short and sweet, but a lot of times they don't put in all of the big moments information. Okay. the 2025 Major League All-Star Game was dedicated to Jones, Andrés Galarraga, and Andruw Jones on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the 2000 Major League All-Star Game. All three threw out the ceremonial first pitches to conclude the players' introduction ceremonies. Okay. Oh my goodness. I just noticed something. Speaking of Andruw Jones, I forgot to mention him on the birthdays. From happy late birthday, Andruw Jones. Because I know I wrote his name down on the list and I somehow missed it. So, Andruw Jones. So his birthday was on April 23rd, 49 years old, birthplace in Netherlands. Star center fielder who played most of his career with the Atlanta Braves, winning the Gold Glove Award for 10 years straight. Wow. Before fame, he began playing on Curaçao's national team before he was 15 years old. Trivia, he had 434 career home runs and led the MLB in his home runs in 2005 with 51. Family life, he married Nicole Derrick in November 2002. He has a son named Drew, D-R-U-W, not the D-R-E-U, Drew, and has two daughters, Madison and Adrian. Associated with Ichiro Suzuki, was the only active player to have 10 Gold Glove awards when Jones received his 10th award in 2007. Yeah, Andruw, it's spelled, instead of a E-W, it's U-W. But it's the same pronunciation. Let me see here. I remember he played for the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, I remember him playing for the Baltimore Orioles. No, it wasn't Andruw. No, it wasn't Andruw Jones. I'm thinking of another one. Is there another Andruw Jones for MLB? Nope, I must be thinking of another name similar to Andruw Jones, but never mind. Andruw Jones did not play for the Baltimore Ravens or Orioles. He played for the Atlanta Braves from 1996 to 2007, LA Dodgers in 2008, Texas Rangers in 2009, Chicago White Sox in 2010, New York Yankees from 11 and 12. Okay. But I remember I was watching some old World Baseball Classic games, and he did play for Team Netherlands. So, yeah. Okay. So I said 11 birthdays. Was that 11 or 12? Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it was 11, but I somehow missed one. All right, last one. I got a comment from the MVP of this channel, 5 Tayer. All right. I'm going to read what you said in the last episode. First of all, I got a comment from episode 121 from a username named Wazim_MUFC. In all caps, it said, KSN sucks. I'm not joking. There was actually a comment that said that. I'm like, wow. KSN sucks, doesn't it? That was my first time getting a comment like that, which is basically a hate comment. Wow. Well, KSN made history. First ever hate comment on this channel. Well, I'm not sure why you had to put that. Maybe, well, I guess must be a troll, you know. A lot of hate comments are from trolls anyways. Well, I got nothing to say about that. So, if you don't like the channel, then this channel isn't for you. But whenever I do get comments, it's from 5Tayer. And he's listened to pretty much all the episodes. So, you actually comment, 5Tayer, on the 3.5 hour plus episode, the latest episode, 122 of me recapping WrestleMania 42. You said, I couldn't watch either nights in full, otherwise I probably would have, but I did hear about night one being awful. I could totally see myself getting into wrestling, but I can't watch the PLEs, unfortunately. It's why I made sure to watch Cena's final match on Saturday night's main event, because I was able to. Okay. So, my question to you is, you said you couldn't watch either nights in full. So did that mean you watched the first hour of both nights for free? Because night one's first hour was on ESPN2 Saturday night, and night 2 on Sunday night's first hour was on ESPN for free. So I don't know if you know about that, or if you knew about that or not. But did you watch that? Did you watch the first hour of both nights? Yeah, night 1 was a disappointment in a way, but I mean, I was entertained. It could have been better, though. It really could have been better. But, you know, I didn't take it too serious, because I'm not a big fan of today's WWE anyways. The fans that are really unhappy, they are the ones who take it serious, because years ago I used to take the WWE serious because I was a much bigger fan of the product back then. And there were some times where I was unhappy on what they were doing. It made me upset. And then I completely stopped following it pretty much. And then I got into watching old pro wrestling full time, which that's why I chose that era, the Monday Night Wars era in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s. It's basically from September 1995 to March of 2001. So that's a good 5.5 years that era lasted. So, 5Tayer, you said you can't watch the PLEs, unfortunately. So that's because you don't have the new ESPN app, right? But you were able to watch Cena's final match because it was on Peacock. Was that Was that the only Peacock wrestling event you ever watched? Because I remember you said it was a while ago you watched a Monday Night Raw episode when they were in Europe because it was in the afternoon, our time, right? Because in Europe they're like 6 hours ahead. By the way, speaking of Saturday night's main event, they're actually still going to have some more of that throughout the year. Yeah, still going to be on Peacock. I still have Peacock. I was sort of thinking of canceling my subscription after the Winter Olympics, but I decided not to. Because there are some shows and some sporting events that I would like to check out. And SmackDown. They have all the SmackDown episodes on Peacock. The weird thing about that is I don't know why they do this, but you have to wait like 30 days, basically a month, to watch SmackDown's latest episode. Like 1 month later, they'll release the latest episode of SmackDown a month later, if you know what I mean. I don't know why they do that. Excuse me, I had to sneeze, so yeah. Well, pretty soon I'll watch the very first SmackDown episode, the pilot episode, late April of 1999, I believe it was. And yeah, we are approaching late April already. Can you believe it? Already approaching late April. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of old pro wrestling because, last weekend was WrestleMania, and I was pretty much a wrestling junkie. So yeah, I'll watch SmackDown. It might not be tonight, though. If I do watch it tonight, it won't be live. And I'll have to see if Tyrone does a reaction live stream. If he doesn't, I might not watch it. I might still watch it. Who knows? There might be some more surprises. But, yeah, I do miss it when it was on Peacock. It was better. I think everyone liked it on Peacock for a while, for its time, Peacock had WWE's library, but WWE has a YouTube channel named WWE Vault, where they pretty much release a bunch of full matches and behind the scenes, unseen footage, and they'll release full documentaries and all that cool stuff. So that's cool, but they don't have everything on there like what Peacock had, you know what I'm saying? The same with WCW. WCW's content was on Peacock, and when they removed it on Peacock, I got disappointed because I'm like, okay, how am I going to watch full episodes and their pay-per-views? Well, they have a YouTube channel, WCW. They have full events on there, but they don't have it all on there. So unfortunately, I can't watch WCW on a weekly basis if I really want to, which I have done that before, but oh well. And Netflix, you know how Netflix has Monday Night Raw? Well, they also have Monday Night Raw's old episodes. but they don't have every single episode. When it was on Peacock, it had all the episodes. Except for, the recent ones where you have to wait a month until they release the latest episode. But they had all the episodes, and if you want to watch 1997, they had all the episodes that year. And then Netflix, they didn't have any episodes from like 2003 to 2021. Like, what the heck? That honestly sucks for the old fans. The fans that like watching the old wrestling back in the day. I don't know. It is what it is. So, well, this episode turned out to be a lot longer than I thought anyways. So, as Tony Kornheiser would say at the end of Pardon the Interruption, PTI, we're out of time. We'll try to do better next time. So, yeah. Alright guys, yep, big weekend. Enjoy the rest of the NFL draft. Enjoy more of the NHL and NBA playoffs. We got some more UFL football and, of course, MLB games. I'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. This has been KSN.